bin Laden.
Osama bin Laden.
You have declared a jihad against the United States. Can you tell us why?
تصرفت تصرفات في غاية الظلم
Imagine a child born into luxury, a boy raised in a billionaire family, in an oil-rich kingdom full of wealth. This child, instead of becoming a businessman, chose another path, jihad, a path that led to one of the most tragic days in human history, September 11, 2001. This is the full story of Osama bin Laden, how he lived, how he killed, and how he was ultimately found and eliminated. Before he was the leader of Al-Qaeda, before he was a fugitive and a terrorist, Osama bin Laden was a young Saudi man from an elite family. Born on March 10, 1957, Osama bin Laden was the 17th of over 50 children of Mohammed bin Laden, a Yemeni tycoon who built the infrastructure of the Saudi kingdom. His father was close to the Saudi royal family, which gave Osama access to the best schools, religious education, and a life of luxury. His mother, Aliyah Ghanem, was a secondary wife of Muhammad, of Syrian origin. She was considered a weak wife within the family, which led to a childhood in which Osama was described as introverted, religious, but ambitious. Osama was educated in Islamic schools, then studied economics and management at King Abdulaziz University in Jeddah. There, he began to associate with professors influenced by radical Islamism, particularly the Muslim Brotherhood movement and theologians like Sayyid Qutb. He was a discreet but devoted student. He began to study jihad and the fight against infidels in depth. How does a young, educated, wealthy, respected man become the leader of a global terrorist organization? In 1979, the USSR invaded Afghanistan. In the eyes of Osama and other Muslims, this was seen as an infidel invasion of an Islamic state. He voluntarily went to Pakistan and Afghanistan to help the Mujahideen. He invested money from his family's fortune to create Maktab al-Khidmat, a center that recruited, trained, and financed fighters from across the Muslim world. He wasn't just a sponsor, but also a fighter. He participated in battles, led logistics, and built a reputation as a pious, brave, and dedicated leader. After the Soviet defeat, Osama did not give up the fight. He believed that the victory in Afghanistan was the beginning of a global jihad. In 1988, he formed Al-Qaeda, which means the base, an international network of radical Islamists, with the goal of removing Western influence from the Muslim world and establishing radical Islamic governments. In 1992, Al-Qaeda carried out its first attacks, bombings in Yemen. In 1998, it attacked U.S. embassies in Kenya and Tanzania, killing over 200 people. In 2000, it attacked the U.S. destroyer USS Cole in the port of Aden. 17 sailors died. The U.S. officially placed him on the list of most wanted terrorists. His biggest attack, the one on September 11, was not an impulsive reaction. It was planned for years, with military precision. It was a message to the world. The plan was conceived by Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, but supported, financed, and overseen by Osama bin Laden. The terrorists were recruited, trained in Afghanistan, and sent to the U.S. to learn to fly planes. 19 terrorists hijacked 4 airplanes. The goal? Symbols of American power. The World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and the 4th plane was headed for the Capitol or the White House. At 8:46 a.m., the first plane hits the North Tower. At 9:03, the second plane hits the South Tower. At 9:37, a plane hits the Pentagon. At 10:03, Flight 93 crashes in Pennsylvania after passengers fight the terrorists. In total, 2,977 people died that day. After September 11th came the biggest game of cat and mouse in history. But the mouse was a master of disappearance. The U.S. invaded Afghanistan. Bin Laden took refuge in the Tora Bora Mountains, a remote area. In December 2001, American forces nearly captured him, but he escaped, crossing into Pakistan. Despite vast resources and a global army of spies, Osama bin Laden managed to disappear for nearly a decade. But no one disappears forever. One thread, a single name, would lead the CIA straight to his door. After the 2001 attacks, the U.S. offered a $25 million reward for any information leading to bin Laden's capture. All leads went cold. For years, bin Laden seemed to vanish into thin air. The CIA changed strategy. Instead of looking for bin Laden directly, they began looking for those who communicated with him. One name kept appearing in several interrogations: Abu Ahmed al-Kuwaiti, bin Laden's trusted courier. He was a discreet man with close ties to the al-Qaeda network, but not publicly known or on FBI lists. In 2007, the CIA uncovered al-Kuwaiti's real identity, Sheikh Abu Ahmed, and began tracking him physically in Pakistan. In 2010, after years of intercepts and surveillance, the CIA saw him entering an unusual compound in Abbottabad, a military city in Pakistan. The compound was extremely isolated: 18-foot walls, no windows facing the street, no phone lines or internet, unusual for such a large residence. Trash was not taken out, it was burned in the yard. Residents accepted no deliveries and were very private. In the yard, the CIA observed a tall male figure who always walked the same route. The pacer. They had no 100% proof, no photos, no voice signatures, but everything pointed to the fact that there, in the middle of a quiet neighborhood, the most wanted man in the world was hiding. The CIA didn't immediately inform the Pakistani government. They didn't trust local authorities, suspecting some Pakistani elements were protecting al-Qaeda. In March 2011, the CIA confirmed that Abu Ahmed lived there, with his brother, their wives, and an unknown family with a man who never left the house. President Barack Obama was informed. Several options were considered. Missile strike would destroy everything, but without confirmation, bin Laden was dead. Drone strike, risky, with potential collateral damage. Ground operation with special forces, high risk, but the best chance for visual confirmation and intelligence collection. SEAL Team. A special team was formed, DevGRU, Naval Special Warfare Development Group, known as SEAL Team 6. Soldiers trained on real-scale mock-ups of the compound. The operation was codenamed Neptune Spear. Overall command, Admiral William McRaven. Objective, capture or kill. 2 stealth helicopters, unmarked, lift off from an American base in Afghanistan. They learned the destination mid-flight, Abbottabad, Pakistan. 2 modified Black Hawk helicopters entered Pakistan covertly. At 1 a.m. local time, the first helicopter tried to land in the compound's yard, but crashed due to air currents and the yard's design. No one was injured, and the team exited quickly. The second helicopter landed outside the compound, and soldiers climbed the walls. Inside the yard and the house, SEAL forces encountered minimal resistance. They shot the courier's brother and 2 other guards. They quickly climbed to the top floor where bin Laden's wives and children were. In a dark room, they found bin Laden. According to the official report, bin Laden did not surrender, but neither did he fire. He had a weapon nearby but didn't get a chance to use it. He was shot in the head and chest in the presence of his wife Amal. The body was photographed, visually identified, and DNA samples were taken. The soldiers collected documents, USB sticks, hard drives, handwritten notebooks, electronic devices, video recordings, plans for attacks. Before leaving, the team detonated the crashed helicopter to prevent leaving behind any technology. They returned to Afghanistan after a 38-minute operation. Just hours after the operation, President Barack Obama appeared on TV in a solemn speech.
The United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of al-Qaeda, and a terrorist who's responsible for the murder of thousands.
The global reaction was immediate. People in the U.S. celebrating in the streets. Other countries increased security, fearing reprisals. Many Pakistanis were shocked that such an operation took place right under the Army's nose. Operation difficulties. The crashed helicopter could have compromised everything. No prior visual confirmation. Real risk bin Laden wasn't there. Unauthorized incursion into Pakistan could have triggered a major diplomatic crisis. Limited time, 40 minutes for a mission that could have failed catastrophically. Osama bin Laden spent 10 years fleeing the world's most powerful military force, but on a May night in a quiet Pakistani town, he was found and killed. Not by a bombing, not by a drone, but by men in flesh and blood who walked into the darkness knowing there was no way back. Bin Laden's death was quickly confirmed, but what followed sparked even more controversy. The body was transported to the USS Carl Vinson aircraft carrier. It was washed and wrapped according to Islamic tradition. In less than 24 hours, it was buried at sea so as not to become a site of pilgrimage. What was found in the compound? Dozens of hard drives, laptops, DVDs, and USB sticks, personal notes, plans for future attacks, journals, videos of bin Laden rehearsing his speeches. Evidence that in his final months, he was isolated, ill, but still obsessed with his public image. Osama bin Laden was not just a man, he was a dangerous idea. The idea that hatred and terror can change the world. But he was also a lesson in how a single person can rewrite history through fear. If you enjoyed this documentary, subscribe, like, and tell me what topic you want to explore next. Because the truth deserves to be told, no matter how dark it is.